Welcome to After the Wedding. I'm your host, Sabrina Porter. In 2025, we celebrate 20 years of hosting lovely, joy-filled weddings here at Villa Sienna. In celebration, we decided to embark on an interview project about what happens after the wedding. Thank you for joining us as we hear from couples who've been building their marriage for many years. We appreciate how they've chosen to share their joy and challenges as they navigate their life together. Welcome to After the Wedding. I'm Sabrina Porter, and today we are going to be talking to Richard and Carly, and we are so grateful to have you here. And I guess I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag that Richard's my brother and Carly's my sister-in-law. So we're really happy to have you. Richard's an engineer and Carly works in accounting. So although she's been an at-home mother for a portion of her career, we'll say. Yes. Yep. So welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Terrific. Yeah. So I'm excited to hear your story, although some of it I do already know, but I know you have so much to share with everyone, so I really appreciate your willingness to do this and share some of your insights. So, okay, so tell me, how did you guys meet? What was the story there?
We met at BYU. We were both going to school there and had lived in the same apartment complex over the summer.
Oh, okay.
And I was friends with some of his roommates. And I didn't actually know him because he was always gone with his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So I hadn't met him for a while.
I remember her, Carly, and you're way better.
But that's kind of how it started. And then finally we met. And then it seems like it was very quickly after that.
Quickly after that. I thought the story was the volleyball, that you guys, maybe that was how he
that was part of it.
That you did a double, what's it called, like doubles volleyball?
Doubles.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, 2-on-2.
2-on-2 volleyball.
That was later, though. We did play some volleyball together before that because a lot of people in the area would go play at the sand court nearby.
Okay.
And so that was kind of a bonding thing for us because we both enjoyed that.
Well, we always thought that Rich was smitten by you because since you played volleyball in college, you took the team, the two of you, straight to the top, right?
Yeah, well, his height helps quite a bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, his height and jumping ability helps as well.
I was tall and uncoordinated, and she was fast and very high volleyball
skilled.
IQ. Yeah.
Very skilled.
Yeah. Yep.
So you guys were the team to beat.
Yep.
Okay.
We did win. We did win one, didn't we? Win?
Yeah, but we played just for fun too, just with friends, like just regular 6-on-6 and stuff. But it was summertime, so we had, it was more laid back. We had lots of extra time. At least I did. I wasn't taking as many classes. The sun's up till later in the day, so
it was summer.
I feel
love.
like you have, I feel like it was accelerated because we could spend so much time together, like almost daily. So,
just connecting, talking, and getting to know each
staying
other.
Up late.
Yeah. Were you looking for anything in particular? Do you remember? Or Rich, do you remember if you were looking for anything in particular?
Yes,
Either of
I
you?
was.
I
mean, I always knew that I needed someone that would be able to hold my interest, and Carly
hold
did
your
that.
interest.
Yeah,
okay.
Carly definitely did that.
In what way? Like, what do you mean hold your interest?
Well, I mean, it's rare that everybody wants to marry somebody who's pretty and kind.
Right. Wonderful. Right.
Wonderful. But I think in Carly's situation, she not only had all that, but she had like this ability to be, introspective, and we could talk about things, and very, very sweet and very, very goal-oriented. She knew exactly, what she was doing at BYU, and
that was
so
nice.
Yeah, I think it's rare that you find someone that not only has all those things that you generally look for, but also has like the real connectivity that we had. So. And I had dated some other girls where I just didn't have that.
That nice connection.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. I think connection is so important, and it's sometimes hard to put your finger on what makes that happen, right? And what keeps that happening. Okay, so do you remember anything about your wedding day? Or how long have you guys been married?
23 years.
23 years. Okay. All right.
It feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can't believe
Underwater.
It's been that long.
Okay. 23 years though, that's pretty impressive.
It's been really fun and really, it seems to me like it's passed by really quickly. And
That's good.
For sure.
You guys are such good friends.
Yeah.
yep.
That's nice. So, okay, let's talk about the wedding day a little bit. Did you, I remember your wedding, and it was beautiful. And is there anything you remember about your wedding day that you think this is something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was winter in Utah. And it was cold, but it hadn't snowed yet. And I had a short sleeve dress, so I was really happy about that. Like the sun was out and everything, so it hadn't snowed yet in the season. So it was like, oh, the weather gods are
in your favor.
in our favor.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had the sun out for pictures, and I wasn't freezing. And I think most of the day is a big blur. I know we had the ceremony, and then we had pictures. Pictures feel like they took forever.
A long
But
time.
we got a lot of good ones. And then, what do you remember?
Do you remember anything, Rich? Like just
Yeah.
about, like, I'm just thinking, anything that you've thought of since that day and thought, or what do you remember about? your
Yeah,
wedding
no.
day?
I remember there were some unique things that happened. I remember our friends. They messed with our car. What did they do? I can't remember. They put balloons
No,
in
they
it.
didn't that night. We had someone go hide it.
Oh, that's right.
They
We didn't
came and
want them
did
to.
it after
They did it
we got
later.
home,
Later.
and they came to our apartment. And
No, I'm
decorated
talking
it.
about like
Yeah.
your love for your wife. Did you have any of
Oh,
those?
yeah, no.
Like, do you ever think
Well,
of that? Do
I
you ever
think-
think like, why did I say yes? Or
No, never. I always said I was really happy to just lock that down for sure. Yeah.
I think we
happy
were
to
just
lock it
so
down.
like
Yeah.
I don't even remember a lot about who else was there because I was just so focused on
on him.
us. It was
Yeah.
kind of like everybody else
Yeah.
can do their own thing or whatever. But
That's nice.
In fact, BYU was playing Utah
That night.
that night
football, yeah,
in
the
football
big game.
at Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
So it's a big.
And so some people didn't show, but we don't really remember who did or didn't show.
Yes, I do.
You remember
I've
some?
written it down. and-
Oh, you've
Just
written it
kidding.
down and you've kept it. You've got the kill list.
They made the list. They made the list.
That's funny. Okay. All right. So, in your first year, did you feel like were there any big surprises? Do you remember thinking, this is not what I expected, or was it just smooth sailing? Like you moved in together because you didn't live together before you were married, right? So you moved in together, and then there you were. And what were the surprise? Were there any surprises?
It was a pleasant surprise for sure. Yeah. Because we had come from, I had 4 other roommates,
Oh, roommates. Okay.
and she had, did you have 5?
Yeah, 5.
She had 5 roommates.
6 of us.
Then you were
total.
just down to one roommate.
And
Yeah.
you had never, even at Chafee, you were living at home.
Yeah.
And before that, I was in other places where I always had roommates. So going to one roommate was really awesome.
That was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dealing with fewer
Just
people.
like no messes that were not yours. Yeah. That's
nice.
And
Well, and our apartment was tiny and it was old and it was like, but it had been newly remodeled, to Provo standards.
Do you sometimes think like I've sometimes thought about the first apartment that my husband and I lived in, that we were just every bit as happy as
Yeah.
we've ever been in any other place
Yeah.
we've ever
Yeah, it
lived.
didn't matter.
was big
We
and
didn't care.
wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
We didn't
just
care.
we were just happy as clams.
Yeah.
Just in that little 500 square feet,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
That's
I loved
funny,
it.
isn't it? You're really getting to know each other.
Yeah.
We didn't have any huge, we were trying to think back and, there's just the normal, just learning each other's little quirks and stuff, but nothing really major. We were just, in The honeymoon phase.
Honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Maybe part of it too, like you both had a lot of siblings, and then you are a decent number of siblings, and then you both had a lot of roommates. So just the new living situation alone
Yeah.
made everything much more peaceful.
It
So
really
I guess it
was,
depends
yeah.
on what you're coming from and what you're
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
But
and
also,
the adjustment.
Carly is like a real easy person to live with. I mean, it's not like she leaves messes or she, like that was easy. And then I just remember us just being so in love that it didn't really matter what else was going on, with classes or work or travel. We just made it, we made it
So
work. with one
oxytocin
car.
took you through the whole year.
It seemed like it.
The love chemicals
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
you through the whole year.
Yeah, we remember hearing or like reading there was some book we read that was talking about, the first year is so
So
hard.
it can be.
and
It can be.
the hardest.
A real
We're like,
adjustment.
what are they talking about? This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I
ours was
remember
really
like
good.
calling mom and saying, "What have I done?" So I guess
Yeah.
it just depends
Yeah.
on how the adjustment goes, and then it was great by the end of the year. I had
Yeah.
adjusted.
Well, later in the interview, we're going to talk about
Some
the
some
difficult-
points of
When
when
the
you
honeymoon
needed to
wears
call
off.
your
when the
mom and
honeymoon
say,
wears
"What
off.
have I
yeah.
done?"
Yeah.
When the honeymoon wears off, do you feel like your expectations have aligned, not just in the beginning, but just kind of as you've gone along, your expectations and your vision for the future? Do you feel like that they have been aligned, or how has that been?
Yeah, I think for us, pretty much they have been. We got married pretty young.
Yeah.
He was 24, I was almost 21, and we were still in school, so we kind of, we're just kind of taking it one semester at a time at that
Right.
point, and we knew we wanted to graduate college and, work, get jobs, and, kind of taking one thing at a time, not looking too far into the future.
That's smart,
So,
Carly.
yeah.
Just taking one thing at a time and
Yeah.
not trying to really.
But I think
Get
maybe
too
because we
overwhelmed.
were young, we didn't even, we were just kind of blissfully unaware of like,
Just trying
what
to
the future
remember
would
to
hold.
wash your clothes so that you had something good to wear tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, and we sort of had an upbringing where there was a plan, and the plan was, go to college, get married, have
Married.
children, right? And
Go to
so-
college, get married, have kids. That's
So we were just kind of following the plan, and that's what we knew. And
I wish you'd do your little thing, Rich, that you sometimes do about
the
yourself.
plan, yeah.
The da-doom.
just that, I just was so young and dumb at the time. I just was following the plan, and so they would just point me in the direction, and that's where I would go. So
He normally
But
does a
yeah.
little thing where he goes da-doom,
just kind of plot, moving along.
doing it. But now it's nice because I guess in retrospect you're glad that that's what you did.
For sure, I think the plan generally works. Yeah, just school, marriage, and kids in that order. I think
What
it
about
generally
work?
works.
work too,
Works
obviously.
somewhere in there. Yeah,
Gotta get a job too.
get a job in there. Yeah, but for
Yeah.
us, it really was because I was on the long track of graduating.
Yeah, becoming an engineer.
Becoming an engineer was a long time, and then I got my master's, and that took a lot longer.
Yes.
As well. But yeah, I think the big picture stuff was sort of falling into place, and I don't think we really had expectations for all the little things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we didn't expect our boy to grow up and be like a phenom volleyball player or basketball player or something, but
Right.
we were just hoping he'd follow in our footsteps
Be a-
and do the plan.
Make it to kindergarten and
Yeah.
get through kindergarten and then
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it to second
Yeah,
grade
exactly.
and 1 year at a time again there, right? Yeah. So do you feel like when you have, let's talk a little bit about how you make decisions together or how you go about, when you come to a place where you need to go one way or the other, or you're making could be big decisions like where do we want to live? What, do we want to try to buy a house? Anything. I mean, there's 1,000,001 decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've always admired how it seems like you guys seem to be able to do that. So tell me, what's your secret? How do you?
I think the big
Go
thing
ahead.
is communication. Yeah, communication is huge. So talking it through, You know, as you had mentioned earlier, just that sometimes if something isn't maybe as important to you, you just want to sit back and let the other person
Take the lead.
you take the lead and maybe explain to you their point of view or their reason for their decision, and try to understand where they're coming from. And then, I mean, obviously you do that if it's important to you too, but if, you know. If
Yeah,
it's
those are the toughies when it's important to
To
both of you.
and you both
Right.
feel strongly about
You both have
something.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's where it
you
gets
gotta
tricky.
communicate.
Yeah.
I know we used to do, you know, I'd say, well, this is a 10 to me, so, you know, is this a 7 to you? Because it's a 10 to me, you know, but then
Yeah.
if you're both 10s on a certain item, then
Yeah.
it makes it, then you have to go back to square one to figure out how you're going to make that decision and not have a lot of conflict.
And I think that generally looks like more time and more effort. You just got to take more time and effort to talk it through.
More time. Okay, so how do you do that without getting irate?
Yeah, that's tough.
That might happen.
I
Yeah.
think we're both pretty reasonable, easygoing in a lot of those ways. You know, that we listen to each other and think it through. But I do remember after our third kid was born, we knew we at least wanted to take a very long break because it was a lot with 3 little
Was
kids.
a lot, yeah.
And I think I wanted to have another baby. I wanted to try for another baby sooner than or you didn't want to at the point I wanted to.
Number 4, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we never had. but
Right.
We did try. So that was the thing where it's like, well, obviously I can't force him to make this decision that I want. So, and obviously, like,
You could trick me.
well, that's not going to go over well. You know, like, it's not good
Kidding.
for anyone to force someone into a decision that they are not on board with. And that's kind of a major one. But eventually, you know, he was kind of like, yeah, let's do that. But, you know, I want to do this and this
So
and
you were
this, too.
patient, is what you're saying. So you wanted to do something that he wasn't ready for, or wasn't
Well, and he
sure.
had good reasons,
Yeah,
too.
of course. Yeah.
So I tried, you know, I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Patience is hard when it's something you really, you know, you feel pretty strongly about. It's hard to be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do the same thing, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It takes time. Sometimes you got to just take a break, come back, and tomorrow just hash it out again.
Talk
right?
about it again.
And sometimes all it takes is if you can think about it from a different perspective or from the other person's perspective, maybe you don't care as much anymore. Maybe you care half as much. And so you're willing to compromise. Or maybe you can find a win-win scenario, right? Something where
That's nice. Yeah.
it can work out for both of you and you can both get what you want.
That's-
Those are hard to find, but you can do it, I think, if you
To
just
think imaginatively.
yeah, and take time and
There's
talk
always
it through.
option number 3,
Yeah. Yep.
right? That's
The one
yes.
you've never thought of, yeah.
Right, exactly. No, that's really good. I do think that making decisions together can be a growth point in a relationship where, especially if you've been solo for quite a while and you've been making your own decisions and it's only impacted you for the most part, and then you come together with someone else and it really is going to impact both of you. So trying to figure out how to make room for the other person's feelings and opinions and preferences and, you know, all the ways in which it'll impact them.
Yeah.
It can be a challenge, but also a real growth point. So I always think when you make decisions together, and do you feel like the longer you've been married, the easier that's been?
That's a good question. I think with some things, it's almost just easier now because our kids are older and like we don't have to, we're like, yeah, go do your thing. But big decisions, I don't know. Has it gotten easier?
Big decisions, there's still some fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we agree on quite a few
Yeah.
things. We have the same, you know, like spending habits. We have similar view on like social situations, that kind of stuff. So I think we got really lucky. And I say lucky because it's, you know, you never really know a person when you get married, and that's, I mean, at least in our case, you know, when you get married young, it's really hard to know a person, but
And they
so
might
we're
change
lucky.
quite a bit if
That's
you've gotten
true.
married
People change.
young. Yeah.
People change. So I think the big decisions for us, again, we just kind of take time, talk it through, and
Do you feel like that when the final decision comes that you finally agree on it, that it's more likely that one or the other of you is going to have it go their way?
I don't really feel like that.
that like in the end somebody wins.
Who wins? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who normally wins, or do you feel like it's pretty even?
I think it's pretty even, yeah. I mean, don't you feel like you compromise?
Yeah,
just as
yeah.
much as
I would say that
compromise?
he's probably a little more easygoing than me. So if I'm like, "What do you think about this?" or, you know, if I've thought about it already, and you know, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's fine," or
Remodeling. I couldn't think of something, but the remodeling
you
stuff
guys just
has been-
remodeled your kitchen, yeah. So
yeah, and
how
we're
did that?
well, we're still making decisions, but
that's true.
So if you had a preference on the way it should go, and Carly had a preference,
well, yeah, so here's an example, I guess. I like stuff with a little more character, and I'm not sure that she necessarily does.
she prefers things clean.
I think
More
so.
simple.
Yeah.
I think because
Yeah,
I'm
straight
afraid of like hating it, like it'll
Later,
be
over time.
too, too much or something. So keeping it simple is more safe.
But in that instance, I don't necessarily feel strongly about it. So if I like this rug and she likes that rug, then I'm like, yeah, let's go with that rug. I'm sure I will love that one just as much. I mean, they're both
But we
rugs.
have compromise too, like on our backsplash in our kitchen. You know, this is just obviously a very superficial decision, but I wanted just like plain white, you know, like a subway tile kind of variation. And he thought that was too boring and plain. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what else
Spice
is out
it up
there.
a little bit.
Yeah, and I think we compromised pretty good on that, right? Like I wouldn't have necessarily picked the design we got, but I like it. He likes it a little better than what I would have picked on my own.
So I won that round.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that's really nice. That's because sometimes those things, the whole arena gets put in one person's area, and they, you know, both people don't really get that much of a say. Sometimes that's the case.
Yeah, so I think with a
So-
lot of the design stuff, he's kind of let me
Say.
be the
But you still ask
default.
me.
Yeah.
She's still
Yeah, because if
involves
he
me.
hates it, then I'm going to be like, okay.
I know. I always give Reed two choices, both of which I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And he can have his
Yeah,
say on
exactly.
that. Yeah, it's a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's
But I
really.
think I just feel more strongly about certain things in that regard.
Yes. So tell me, obviously you're busy. Your family is very busy. You have 3 children. You've both got jobs. You've got a household to run. And you've got other kinds of obligations as well. When things are busy, what do you do to stay connected? You mentioned that, especially that summer of love when the sun stayed up so late and you got to really connect. What do you do now to connect? And are there any things that you've tried to do over the years, starting early in your marriage or at whatever point you figured it out?
We've always tried to make like a weekly date night a priority, even with when our kids were younger, because we both felt like we needed that break from them and we needed that time to connect, because sometimes we get to really
And you
talk
did
to
that
each
though
other.
before you had kids.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Every night was
That-
date
every
night.
yeah, that's
Pretty much.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, you know, because sometimes when the kids are little, you feel like it's hard to get away and like who's gonna watch them. And we luckily were able to always kind of have babysitters and family to help out with that. And so we've continued that, because even now that our kids are older, it's still busy and
Right.
we got a lot going on every day. So at least we have that Friday night date, you know. And
So do you do it religiously? I mean, is it just something every Friday, no matter
Yeah.
what, you go?
I mean, sometimes it's Saturday if something else is going on, or it's like breakfast instead of dinner. But unless we're out of town or something, then yeah.
So you mostly
Regular.
go out, have dinner, do something together, do something fun. Is it mostly just going to dinner, or do you do other things?
Sometimes we do other things. Maybe like a Target or Home Depot.
I know it can
Really
be very fun just to
exciting.
go to Target to see the things you don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we mostly like to just go and talk.
Oh, that's nice.
So makes it easier. Nobody feels like they have to plan anything elaborate. It's like we do take turns deciding where to go.
Yeah.
eat. But
Just as a side question, which of you likes to talk more? Like wants to, because usually there's one person who's more of a talker and one person who's a little bit less of a talker. At least in that pairing, at least in
Yeah.
your pair.
good question.
Who do you think is more likes to
Pretty
talk?
equal.
We are pretty equal. I
It
think
probably
it,
depends on our mood. on the day.
mood, subject,
Subject, right?
how things are going between us, that kind of stuff.
If anyone's upset.
Yeah. If
At
there's
all?
some upsetness, then not a whole lot of talking going on.
There might not be a lot of. Okay, well, that leads us to a question to talk a little bit about conflict, because I think that that's a very good lead in there where you were talking. I think everybody responds differently to when there is a little bit of conflict, and just trying to figure out what ways you all have. How do you respond to conflict, and then how do you go about trying to resolve the conflict? Who wants to
You
go
wanna take
first?
that?
Yeah, you want to go, Rich?
Yeah, this is
Yes.
this is a subject that I'm still learning. I think maybe even more intricately now. In my late 40s, I'm still learning how to do this right, and this is not like any type of like paid promotional thing, but I listen to the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and I love his four principles.
Okay, who is it? Four Agreements by Don.
By Don Miguel Ruiz, the Four
Don
Agreements.
Miguel Ruiz. Okay.
The four agreements, which are, I'll just quickly say, be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions, don't take it personally, and do your best. And there's so much to go into each of those. You could have a podcast on each one of those.
Wow.
But I suggest listening to it. It's only 2.5 hours.
The book.
On Audible, it's just 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
It's really easy
All right,
to
that's
listen to.
good.
But also David Schnarch, who wrote The Passionate Marriage. Two of his great, I think, things that I've internalized is try not to be reactive
That's a good one.
and try to tolerate discomfort for growth.
Okay. So in the try not to be reactive, that's a really hard one. That means the person comes in and says, hey, Carly, I just sold our car to the neighbor because he really needed it. And, and I didn't really like it anymore anyway, and it's got some problems. Okay. So you get that news and you're like, what?
Yeah.
We didn't discuss that. Yeah. I mean, not that that would ever happen, but I'm just saying that those kinds of things can happen. Maybe it's something different, like I just donated the kids' old bikes because I thought that we didn't need them anymore. Or,
Right.
and you had a whole plan that you were going to do with the bikes that he
Yeah.
didn't know about,
Sure,
right?
Sure.
So
So don't take it personally.
don't take it personally, and then
And that
but
helps you try not to be
to
reactive.
not
Right?
react.
So, like an example, I might do something that Carly doesn't like, and she brings it up, as I think you should. And
Do you ever try to figure out how you're going to bring it up? Like timing? Do you ever think like maybe the second he walks through the door isn't the best time? Or do you
Yeah.
just pretty much hit him with it the second you see him?
No.
it's usually after emotions have simmered,
Yeah.
right?
So you've thought about it a little bit to decide if you are actually mad?
It just depends on the situation, because sometimes in the moment I'll react without even like thinking about it,
Right, I think
Sometimes
we
it's
all
like
do. We all
Yeah.
do.
just a natural response your body has that you can't stop.
Right.
And, but yeah, if it's something else that's like not in the moment, then yeah, try to think about it and, yeah, figure out what to say.
What it is you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, or what's happening with you? Like, why am I so irritated by this?
Right,
Or
yeah.
what's going on? What's triggering me in this moment? And am I able to talk rationally with her about it?
Yeah, like
Or
if you're too
when
mad,
wait-
what
yeah.
else can you do?
Oh yeah, we've been talking about this too. It depends on your, what your mode is, but one mode, at least for me, is I just need time. So I'll just say I want to talk about this, and we're going to talk about it, but I can't do it right now because I'm angry.
Yeah.
And I won't. My therapist is saying like there's these two sides, right? You have the logical side and then this emotional side of your brain, and somewhere in the middle is wisdom.
Right.
And sometimes I go all the way to the emotional side, and I have like no logic. And so,
I think we all have that. I
Yeah.
call it amygdala hijack.
Okay.
Where there's a structure in your brain that has completely taken over.
yeah, yeah,
And you're just angry or upset or whatever the emotion is.
Yeah.
And it's taken over. The frontal lobe has no control anymore.
Right.
Right.
Well, and something we've learned too is to maybe like if you feel yourself reacting to something,
Right?
to bring it up in a way that's like, okay, I'm having this reaction, but this is a trigger for me. I don't know exactly
Why I'm reacting so
I don't know if
strongly.
it's you. I don't know if it's me, but this is what's going on.
Or I might just be starving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like
Which I won't admit, of course.
yeah. Let's go eat some food.
Yeah.
Get some
I
rest,
always say, could
and
we
then
have
come back
something
to
to
it.
eat and rest and then
Exactly.
discuss it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much time do you find, I guess maybe the amount of time you need to calm down is in proportion to how mad you are.
I think there's a little of that.
A little bit of that. Yeah.
But one thing I like to do, and Carly does the same thing, is we want to solve the problem right away.
Yeah.
And the other one's maybe not ready.
Right.
And so we have to be patient and say, okay, I'm feeling this thing and this person's upset. We're just going to take some time and come back to it
Yeah.
and try to live life between that, that
Between
time.
then
but
and when you're going to talk
when we're going
again.
to resolve it, yeah.
And one thing that I've always found really helpful is that if I'm angry and I'm in that in between time where I'm taking a break before discussing it again, I think in my mind there's really two choices here. Either you're either going to divorce the person or you're going to stay with the person. Okay, so if you've already decided you're not divorcing the person, you're going to stay with the person. So now, how do you want that to be?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want that to be a beautiful, wonderful partnership where you have your best friend with you all the time? Or do you,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like reframing it in my mind like, all right, we've already decided we're never getting divorced. So now we just have to figure out what's the next step forward to make this thing that we're having a conflict over work its way through.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have a change of heart,
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah.
right? You have to
Yeah,
almost just
definitely.
change your mind.
Yeah.
Well, and
Change
sometimes
your
it takes a lot of talking because you don't know exactly
Why
what's
you're-
going on until you like peel back the layers of like, and we'll be
Of
honest.
why
we've-
you're upset.
Yeah, we've been in therapy. We've had, like different.
It's awesome. It's one of the most luxuries of life,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
living in a first world country
Yeah.
and having that kind of
And,
thing available.
I can't remember what I was going to say exactly, but we've
Just
learned.
that sometimes you have to talk and talk and
Yeah.
talk to get to that place where you're able to,
Yeah, and sometimes it takes an outside person to kind of help us
yes.
see things a little more clearly or see, identify like why this might be coming up for a person. And,
Or the dynamics between us.
yeah. And so, but obviously it has to continue between therapy sessions and, individual therapy together, like all that stuff kind of helps you figure out how to communicate and how to communicate through all those layers without like just getting angry at everything you don't like.
Right. I think it is. It's definitely more delicate than the emotions you're having are allowing. It's a more delicate process to try to sort through what are these feelings and why am I having these feelings.
Well, one good technique is to don't make any assumptions,
Right.
which is one of the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And so, because sometimes, like, she might say something and not be like, she just hates me. And I'm just assuming that she hates me, but that's not what's happening, right? So be inquisitive, ask questions. Okay, so why is it that you said this or think that or feel this way? I want to hear more, rather than jump to some assumption about
Yeah, that can cause a lot of problems.
that's personal, right? And we're
Right.
not trying to take it personal, so don't make
Exactly.
assumptions.
I think that's and the other thing about the assumptions is if you make an assumption, then you kind of cut off your ability to have empathy because you've already assumed that you understand the problem, you understand what's going on.
Yeah, you figured it all out.
You figured it all
Yeah.
out. You know where they're at. And when in fact, you may not know where they're at. And you may have to really put on your empathy jacket and be like, okay, I'm gonna sit in your shoes for a minute here
Yeah.
so that I can understand what you might be feeling.
I think asking a lot of questions,
Asking a lot of
being
questions.
curious, and being like really listening is important.
To what the other person is saying.
And I think for us too, it's really helpful to recognize what, we are on the same team. We want to be each other's best friends. And we really want the same things out of life.
Yeah.
We want the same things from each other and for each other. So kind of going through all that stuff too to help remind us.
Helps put you in the frame
Yeah.
of how can I be the partner that they
Right.
need and
Yeah.
want, and how can I be, how can they be my partner
Yeah.
too that I need.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you bringing up therapy because I think we were very fortunate, Rich and I, because our mother was a therapist. So we have a much maybe different view of how useful that is and jumping into that. But I think a lot of times marriages and people go along kind of in an autopilot way for periods of time, and then different challenges come along for either one or both. And, there's some people or some families have such a stigma with that, with choosing to seek that support that they maybe don't do it. And it could be extremely helpful and extremely enriching to just both parties, to really come to more understanding. So I think some people wait all the way until they're like really, really having big problems
Yeah.
instead of, maybe earlier on when it's like, hey, let's get some support to help us work through these, whether it's better ways of handling conflict or better ways of, just supporting one another in big endeavors that the other person might be doing, or issues with the family or the children, right? It's just one of those things that I think it is a tremendous gift and help. Of course, you have to find the right person, but I do think just back to the conflict, trying to really put yourself in the other person's shoes is so huge. And it's hard because they're the enemy at the moment.
They feel like it's
Why would I want to be in their shoes? They're the enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other insights then on conflict that you can think about?
I can't find where I wrote down anything about that.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk a little about, things about your partner, because we all go into marriage, I think, imagining that they're, they're a fixer-upper. They're pretty great, but they also have some things. And if we just work with them, they'll change those things, right? They'll become the person. If I just work with them enough, they'll become this different person, But that sometimes doesn't happen. In some areas, people grow and change because they want to grow and change or because they just do. But are there things about each other that you think, okay, I've made my peace. I've figured out this is something I'm going to accept about my partner, and I'm not really too worried about, trying to change it, trying to fix it, trying to improve it.
Yeah. Something I've accepted about Rich is that sometimes he is just really unaware, like oblivious
Oblivious.
to things, like
Yes.
our kids' friends' names or who people are that we've known forever, or whether I rearranged the family room furniture and bought all new decor. So it works out for me sometimes.
Yeah, maybe that's a good
Yeah.
thing sometimes,
And
right?
Yeah.
we try to just laugh it off when the kids are like, "Don't you remember so and so? Been to our
Right.
house?" Like,
Right.
Yeah.
no clue.
I know. Well, I
So.
think when you're designing rocket ships in your head, that sometimes is a little distraction, maybe, or it could just be the way your brain works, huh?
Yeah, I'll admit I do struggle with that, but I also don't make it a priority to memorize my kids' friends because there's so much overturn. I just cannot keep track of if
Of
they're
all
still
of
friends
them.
or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that one's not one. But yes, I do. I struggle with names. I struggle with
I struggle with
yeah,
names,
like
too.
like she'll have changed something, and I'll walk in a room, and she'll say, "Do you know what's different in this room?"
You're like,
Yeah, I
Not
don't know, the
sure.
couch, the pillows.
yeah.
No, all the wall hangs are different. Okay. Yeah, so
So
Luckily,
that's-
he's pretty
that's-
easygoing about it.
that's- So that it maybe what that does by recognizing that about him, that he is who he is, and that's one of his endearing quirks, is that you maybe have a little more grace, a little more room, a little more patience when he forgets something that was important, but clearly didn't make it into the
Yeah.
chamber,
long
into the
term.
lockbox.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Right. So you can accept it a little
Yeah.
easier and not get upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rich, do you have anything about Carly?
I do. I've accepted the fact that she just will not leave the toilet seat up. I've been trying to get her to leave it up. We all want it up, so let's just leave it up.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's not
How
going
do
to do
your
that.
daughters feel about that?
Yeah. I'm trying to get them to leave it
Yeah,
up too. I just don't understand the big deal. But I've come to accept that this is life now.
This is
was
a
the new
toilet
normal.
seat down house.
Yeah. We have to do this. This is what this is my cross to bear, and I will.
He also puts up with my half of the bathroom counter being like a disaster,
Covered.
just because I have so much more
Does your
stuff.
stuff migrate over to his
I
house?
try not to let
Yeah.
it, but probably
but
a little
sometimes
bit.
it does.
But he's supposed to keep his side perfectly clean.
Perfectly clean. I know there's usually a different set of rules for us than there is for the men, right? That's sometimes how it goes. And then that's another thing to accept.
He's done pretty well at accepting that.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
I try.
Okay. What about something that you really, really love and appreciate about each other? Do you have anything that you can think of that you think, boy, this is something that, especially over time, or that I've really come to appreciate about my spouse?
Yeah, there's several. I think one thing I admire about him is like his ability to focus on one thing at a time.
Yes.
So, that's like the other side of kind of being forgetful is that he can really hone in on a project or work. That's why he's able to work from home because he doesn't get distracted by it. Even when we had little kids being loud, he's been able to do that. When he's talking to you, he gives you
Full attention.
full attention. He's really engaged.
He's listening and attending
he's
really
listening,
carefully.
and not just with me, but with other people.
No, I
and
noticed that
It's a
too.
good,
That's a
social
great-
skill too. And
Among
So-
his engineering peers,
Yeah.
he's the social butterfly, right?
I was listening, but could you just repeat everything that you just said over the past?
These are all good things that you want to put in your back pocket.
what was the other thing I was going to say? Let's see.
When your spouse notices something really amazing about you and brings it up to you, it feels so good because
Yeah.
it's like they really do know you better than anyone else.
Yeah.
When you've lived together for a long time, I mean, even if, other people know you well too, and they see you that way, it's such a gift, and it is something that you can put in your back pocket because it really helps your connection, I think. Yeah.
I think going along with it too, the other thing I was going to say that he's really good at staying grounded. Like when I'm kind of like freaking out or like
Oh,
overthinking or overanalyzing something.
Sure. Helping to bring calm in that moment.
Kind of bring things back to reality and like back to let's just think about this here and what's important and that kind of a thing. And
Yeah, that's a really good skill. I think that's
really
very
helpful to
nice in a
me.
partnership.
And he really tries to love me in the ways that I feel loved. And,
Oh, that's-
thinking about not just what he wants to do, but like what he thinks I would want him to do, which is tricky.
It
As a
is.
man, sometimes you can't,
It's hard for him to
Think
get it
like
right.
can't read minds. But,
Right, especially because today what I wanted
Yeah,
was
it's different.
flowers, but yesterday I needed words of affirmation.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think in general, he knows, you
Yeah.
know, the big things that are
Chocolate?
important to me. Yeah, for sure.
That's really nice. Those are wonderful
Yeah.
things. I love those. Rich, do you have some things you love about
Yeah,
Carly?
and I wrote down some things, but and we talked a little bit about it earlier. Just being just that she's pretty and fun and kind. But you can find a lot of people who are pretty and fun and kind. But what sets Carly apart is that she's also smart and engaging. I said she held my interest, and she's really engaging, thoughtful, funny, and best of all, she's a strong woman. And I've been surrounded by strong women my whole life, and so I really just love the fact that she's strong and confident. And when a woman walks confidently into a room, it's super, super attractive. And Carly's like that all the time.
I love that.
The other cool thing that she does is that she's really good at finding humor in tough situations. I think Abby had brought this up too. Do you remember she said that you are good at just laughing things off sometimes? Yeah, you don't remember when she's... This was like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. It's true.
No, maybe that's
That's
what
a
she
good
sees.
skill. That's a
Yeah.
good superpower, Carly. That's amazing.
So
Not
if you
always
combine
true.
all that, it's really, really unique and rare to find a person that has all of those things.
Yeah, that's really nice that you're seeing her as a whole person and really realizing you've got so many awesome things in that package. Because then when there's a tiny little part over here in the package that you keep in mind, there's all these other things in the package that are so wonderful, right? And so, so much what you admire and appreciate and need and love.
I mean, I'd like to think that she sees the same in me, and that's why we've been together for so long. That we both see the good in each other.
That's big.
And because you can. I think everybody's beautiful, and you can also find just evil in everybody. Everybody has their little bits of whatever selfishness.
Because we're human beings.
We're human, yeah, right. And we have to just accept the fact that in us is all of humanity. All the capability of a human. So that can be both good and bad. But if you focus on the good stuff, which I think Carly does, and that's why we've been together for so long, I think.
Yeah,
really
that
works
she
in your
can see the
benefit.
good in you.
And ignore all the other
And
stuff.
try to not
Try to ignore the others.
try to not focus her attention on the things that are not the things that she
Yeah,
likes
and
as
then
much.
and then what do? Just cross your fingers and hope that I change, or hope that I see the error of my ways? I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure out relationships.
I really think
there's-
part of it. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just I think that there's something. There's some things you just have to ignore, and some things you have to address. And it's tough to know where that line is.
Oh, which things to ignore and which things to address. Yep. I think, if someone put a gun to my head and asked me that question, I think I would say that I'd ignore all the things that aren't really hurting us. There's lots of things like they like to watch too much sports, or they, always want to say where we go to dinner, or there's, don't put their stuff in the laundry. All those things aren't really hurting us, things that are hurting us, then we want to talk about,
Yeah.
or hurting me, or hurting
Yeah.
or,
The relationship,
the
yeah.
relationship. Yeah, I think that's really, but boy, it is tricky. I think I
Well-
loved what you said though about seeing the good and looking for the good, because we do all have multiple parts inside of us, and if we are focusing our attention on the good and being part of the solution and not part of the problem. You know, that focus on your partner's superpowers and really valuing them and really appreciating them. What I think that does, my theory, is that it really helps generate the love feelings that you have, you know. And if you're feeling a lot of good love feelings, it makes it a lot easier to do all the other stuff.
Sure.
Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you have to kind of almost, I think, self-generate them in the sense that you're focusing your attention on that.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You're like, wow, that's amazing. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking out the trash. And you always bring in the mail every day. And I never say thank you. But you do it every single day. And it's so nice.
Yeah. Appreciation.
Appreciation. Yeah. Appreciation to them, but also inside.
Yeah, just what you're telling
recognizing
yourself.
What you're telling
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
I think it does make marriage so much more rewarding
Yeah.
and enriching if you're focusing on the good things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's great. Tell me what you've learned from one another. Do you feel like you've learned things?
Yeah. One thing I thought of when, thinking about this question was that I feel like Rich has taught me a lot about the gray area of things. Like, I feel like I had more of a black and white upbringing, and, as young kids, that's important to have
Some families have a much more clear,
black and white,
yeah.
and this is how we do things, and this is good
The way
for
it
you.
is.
And,
Yeah.
I think that's great, and in a lot of ways, and probably helped who I became or who I am today. But I also think learning another person's way of thinking has just expanded my ability to see other people's perspectives and to not get so worried about, right and wrong, like one way versus the other
Right.
is the only way.
That's it.
That I think it makes me a less judgmental person. It makes me, less stressed sometimes because I know that, well, if this doesn't work out, then
It'll be fine. We'll work
it'll be
out
fine.
something
It'll just
else.
be something else, or,
It's easier to accept things that are out of your control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's helped in a lot of different ways to learn how to just accept certain things that show up in life and, people and
So part of it is you've learned from him how he's doing it, and it's almost just like being around his energy, being around his way of being.
yeah.
It's not like he said, "Carly, sit down. I'm going to teach you this." It's
Yeah,
more like
exactly. Just
he
kinda over
just
time
being
and-
around him and seeing how when new information came into his realm, he might not have said, "This has to be put into this bucket or this bucket." He just didn't do that. He was okay with
Yeah.
it staying out of the bucket,
Yeah.
living out of the bucket.
Which is uncomfortable for me
Which
sometimes.
is exactly.
It's
So
hard
that's
to
to be living in the unknown.
yeah, because
a
it feels
little bit.
unsettling sometimes, but,
But living in that gray area gives more room and more space
yeah, exactly.
for other people or other ideas.
yeah.
I
Ways of thinking, so many ways of thinking.
there really are.
And
There
I've
really are.
maybe changed my mind on things over the years, several times,
And isn't that a beautiful thing to
I
be
think
able?
so.
It's such a
Yeah.
nice. I always say I really just reserve the right to change my mind on
Yeah,
anything.
should all be able to.
It's a nice way of living because then you're able to stay open to new information, new data that's
Yeah.
coming in. Right? There's always new information. So that's a great one that you thought of, Carly. I really like that a lot. Rich, what have you felt like you've learned?
Yeah,
from Carly?
so Carly's taught me how to respect other people's time.
Oh, that's
Means being on time. We were here a little bit late today,
That was my fault, sorry.
but
yes.
it was just 8 minutes.
These are sounding kind of familiar. I just have to say, but the reverse in my
Yeah.
marriage.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Reed gets me there on
See
time.
there in time. Yeah.
So that's good. Respect. I think I like the way you phrase that. Actually, that's that she's helping you learn to respect other people's time.
Yeah,
That's-
because she didn't like it when people were late or I was late, and I was like, "What's the big deal?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back before cell phones, like if I
couldn't
was
text.
expecting to be picked up at a certain time or
Right.
something, and I'm just standing there waiting, that feels
Right.
like not very good.
Right. It's
We
not
have
respecting
the
people.
genetic flaw somewhere in there that doesn't have a clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Audra got that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just
That's not all
Extreme.
bad, by the way.
No,
yeah,
it's
That's not all
exactly.
bad.
No, it's
exactly. That's true.
To be
I
able
always say
to.
you can live in. I say I live in the moment, which means
Yeah.
I might be late to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our brother is like that, where he's like, if he's with you, he's like 100%
He's with you.
present. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's not worried about where he has to be next.
Right.
So there's good things there too. So I'm still trying to make sure I'm maintaining that balance, but I do want to respect the next person's time that I'm going to be
Yes.
spending with them or
I
picking
love
them
that.
up.
It's really, I really
How to
like that.
communicate better and how to have a better view on topics like health, dress, and the gray areas. Look, I had the same thing as you, gray areas. So maybe we both.
Maybe you're both
learn from
bringing
each other.
that.
And we
I
invented
love
it.
that. You're
And-
both bringing that to each other. Maybe what was a gray area for her is a different gray area
That's
for
true,
you.
Yeah.
Different topics.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And prioritizing sleep schedules and how to make a grilled cheese, how to make.
She taught you how to make grilled cheese.
I had no idea. She said, "Let's make a grilled cheese for dinner one night," and I was like, "Great. What do we need?"
Tried to spray the bread with cooking spray or something.
I did. I tried to. I thought, okay, it looks like it's like toasted on the outside. We just like spray it with cooking spray and then throw it in there.
And now you know how to make all kinds of things,
it's
right?
come a long way.
It's true.
Do you
Just
do
don't
a
know.
lot of the cooking, or who does most of the cooking?
What would you say?
It's probably pretty even these days.
About 50-50?
Yeah.
It just depends on how busy
Yeah.
each of us
How
is.
busy
like-
and how hungry?
It's falling
Yeah.
about 50-50.
I
yeah.
used to be a lot more into that, but
At the moment, I mean, we come through eras
yeah,
of our
exactly.
life.
This
We
era
come through eras.
is not something I'm enjoying. So.
Exactly.
He
And we
steps
reserve
in.
the right to change our
Yeah,
mind at any
exactly.
point.
So it's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
Lots of stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about commitment and what it means to you. Like just the whole concept of commitment, because as we know, marriage is a big commitment. And I'd love to hear you share your thoughts about commitment.
The first thought that came to my mind was like, commitment is sticking with something even when it gets hard because you've said you would do it, so you're gonna do it. So in marriage, like you've made this commitment to someone because you love them, and working through the challenges that are going to inevitably be thrown at you, whether it's like health stuff or financial or kids.
Kids
I mean,
stuff, yeah.
there's so much that just comes at you. And just knowing that each other is committed to the relationship and, working together through those challenges, I think is important.
So it's like when I was talking about either we're going to stay together
Yeah,
or not.
yeah, exactly.
You're just taking it off the table. The idea of we're not going to stay together, you're just taking that off the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think it always has to be an option. That way you can make the choice. I mean, because obviously there are things that obviously would be deal breakers in a marriage. But yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think as in a general sense, definitely. Like, it takes two people to make a marriage work.
Right.
And both, need to have the same commitment. If you trust your partner and you know that they have the same level of commitment as you, then it's much easier to get through those hard times.
Yeah, that's true. Because you're both in it.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on it, Rich?
Yeah, commitment is, means you put time and effort towards
Yeah.
something that you work at and you prioritize it. Yep.
yeah.
And I was thinking about this, and I'm not really committed to the lawfulness of marriage, but I am strongly committed to Carly. And
So wait, what
Carly
do you
the
mean? You're
person.
saying that the legal document is not playing any role in keeping you
Well,
together?
I'll get to that too, but I do think that I am much more committed to Carly the person and the relationship that I have with her than I am that whole binding agreement or social contract that we have.
Yeah.
Although I do think that the eject button should be out of reach or out of easy reach. You shouldn't be able to
that. The
just.
eject button should be out of easy reach.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
because if you stick with it, because it's easy to get out. If it was easy to get out of it.
You're saying
then
like if you didn't get married, if you just decided you're going to live together forever.
That's right. If you're just
Okay.
living together, and no shade
is
on
your
anyone who
partner.
does, because maybe it works for you.
Right.
Maybe that works for you. But I think that sometimes when we're in a situation where we're a little bit forced to say, divorce is just a little bit difficult with lawyers and splitting things and all this stuff, right?
Right.
If I just maybe work through this, then when you get to the other side, you find out that it's so much better. And you're glad that you didn't.
Right.
And you're stronger, and she's stronger, and your relationship's stronger. So that's what I mean by sort of the eject button out of reach. And that I don't think that, I mean, me personally, I guess, I'm not really committed to that whole thing. I'm more committed to her. But I do believe that having that agreement makes it so that you at least don't just walk away today. You can at least fight through something, and there's something better for you if you do. Struggle, right? Tolerate discomfort for growth.
Right. I love that. Tolerate discomfort for growth. That's really, it's excellent. I have a friend who's a divorce attorney, and she says that when people would come into her office and, they'd say, we're having trouble, and she'd say, how long? How long have you been having trouble? And they're like, 3 weeks. She's like, come back in a year.
Yeah. Give it a real effort.
Yeah, she won't even meet with them. So I think sometimes you think, well, this is hard. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But it's just like anything. Growth takes effort.
Yeah.
And
Anything
the
that's going
struggle,
to be worth it is going to be hard.
Yep.
it's going to be hard. I mean, and it's going to be hard and beautiful
Yeah.
and wonderful.
You
and there's
can't
going
have
to
one
be,
without the other, I think.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So there will be moments of difficulty and times of difficulty, and then times of tremendous connection and love and partnership and friendship. So, yeah, I love it that you've brought that up and that we've talked about that a little bit more, because I think those are really good things. And I love that phrase. What is it?
Tolerate discomfort for growth?
The eject
Oh,
button.
the eject button needs to be somewhat out of reach.
Somewhat out of reach. Yeah, because you
harder
got
to
up in
get
front of everyone and did your vows and did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be just a little bit harder.
Yeah.
If you think I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in that sense, that's what I'm saying is I believe that marriage is the way to go. I mean, if you're living by yourself, if you're just living together, maybe that works for you. But I think that there's probably a lot of us in the world who need that partnership through the act of joining together through marriage.
something I've thought about too is like a lot of things that are problems in marriage stem from like personal, like
Absolutely.
individuals
Absolutely.
issues that
Yeah.
you yourself need to work on or work through, and that will follow you to any relationship you go to. You know what I mean? Like if you get out of this relationship because you were having this problem and you didn't work on yourself, you go to another relationship, it's going to stay with you. So you might as well work on it in the relationship you already have. That's unless there's, obviously huge problems, abuse, and
Right.
terrible
Big things.
big
yeah.
things going on. It's usually going to be worth it to stick with the person you're already with
Absolutely.
and work on yourself with them.
Yep. I had a friend years and years and years ago who had reached the limit with her partner. She said, I can't do it. It's not working. And what I said to her is, why don't you do everything that you would do if you were going to get divorced? So this woman was a stay-at-home mom, And I said, so let's think about all the things that will change as soon as you get divorced. And there was a whole bunch of things that were going to change. And I said, what if you just embarked on that path and didn't get divorced? And you just did those things. And they're still together years and years later. And she did embark on that path and was much happier.
Yeah.
So
Personal
it was
growth and
it was a lot
development.
about her not being happy.
Yeah.
But the reason why you're unhappy or not, you have to figure out what that reason is.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out what can you work on
Yeah.
to improve your own happiness.
Yeah.
And then see if that partnership is still great, which I think it is. Oftentimes,
Yeah.
you know, it's a good
Yeah.
support.
Time.
So moving on to forgiveness, or for, you know, deciding that whatever it was your partner did is not quite as egregious as you had initially decided.
Yeah.
How does that work for you guys? What is the
I think for me, I have to process, you know,
in the way that you do?
in the way that I kind of work through whatever it is, and that may involve, you know, just thinking about it myself, might involve talking about it together. I got to process it somehow. But I think forgiveness is huge in any relationship you want to keep solid and long term.
So if you can you think of any time when you did have to forgive, not for a big thing, but just for any little thing, just like leaving the milk out overnight. Now here we are, it's morning and we can't have cereal because the milk's been left out, you know? Those little things. Like what processing would you do on that, and then how would you come to
I think it comes down to like the things that I'm telling myself about why he's doing something, what it means.
Okay, the things
know?
that you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he's doing this because he doesn't care, or he's not being sensitive, or, you know, like all those things. And it kind of goes along with, you know, not making assumptions or taking things personal. It's just nothing, you know, wasn't an attack on me. It wasn't like this personal thing. It was just the way I'm perceiving it and the way that I'm, you know, what I'm telling myself that it means.
What's the narrative that I
Yeah,
have in my mind about
exactly.
why they did what they did?
And that's where communication comes in, and just bringing up, you know, maybe you bring it up, maybe you don't, but just saying, this triggered me, I don't really know why, and just talking it through, and maybe it is something they could change, or they want to change, or maybe it's just something I need to change my perspective on. And then, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I need an apology, and I need a certain kind of apology.
Right.
And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's where the talking through comes in, because I think the talking it through really helps me process and helps me feel understood.
Yes.
Because I think that's one of my huge things. I want to be heard and understood and valued, and so if that
You want him to say, look, I know that you went out yesterday afternoon at 4 and got that gallon of milk because you wanted to be sure we had milk for the cereal this morning, and that I just forgot. I'm just an idiot. I forgot. I didn't put it away, and I can understand why that would make you so mad.
Yeah, that goes a long way.
It goes a long way,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah, it does go a long way. And then you're like fine with it. Okay, we'll have toast.
Yeah.
And you're fine with it at that point. But if you didn't get that apology, so sometimes the apology is really, really important.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a matter of reframing it in your own mind.
I think so. Yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay, what about you, Rich?
Yeah, forgiveness is when you're letting go of your resentment. And I'll give an example of when Carly was really good at this. I was getting some food out of the fridge, and I had several things in my arms here, and I decided to get, I can't remember what it was. Was it a pasta salad or something?
It was like one of those prepackaged meals from Costco or something.
Right.
And I had a firm grip on it, but the plastic thing bent and all the stuff went down onto the fridge and the floor.
Right.
Like in there. And and the whole family's there, and I stood.
And that was dinner?
That was dinner. That was dinner.
Okay.
And I just turned to Carly and I said, I just did the stupidest thing. And she just immediately forgave me because she didn't say a single word. She was like, a word of criticism. She was like, it's okay, we've got this covered. And she came over and the kids maybe weren't paying complete attention, but we scooped it back up and we put it in the trays and
Ate it anyway?
we ate it.
Did not.
We ate some of it.
Well, some of it didn't fall out.
stuff that
We didn't eat the stuff that went on the
The
floor.
stuff that fell on the part of the fridge on the
Maybe.
bottom, on the inside, the white clean part of
exactly.
the fridge part,
Exactly.
that got put back in, and we ate it. And we told the kids about it later, and they were shocked that we would feed them something that had fallen. But the stuff on the floor, that went away. But she just jumped right in
Yeah.
and made it, a
She
positive
did.
thing.
She did the thing that I call quick turnaround time, because sometimes there's a thing that you just need to accept it right away. Why waste any time disputing it? It happened.
Yeah.
Past is the past. I know it was only 30 seconds ago, and she did a quick turnaround of her mind to decide
quick
that it
turnaround.
wasn't going to be a thing.
problem, yep.
Yeah.
I can't say that I would do that in every situation though, because I feel like it just depends on the day and my mood. Like if I already had
Right.
like 10 things like that happen,
Right.
that might be the one thing that puts me over the edge.
Exactly.
I think that's human, though, don't you think?
That's human. That's
Yeah.
human.
But I'm just saying, like, that's
We're all
normal
flawed. Yes,
to
that is
kind of
very
have varied
normal.
responses to those kinds of things.
And if you asked me why I did that and I said because I wanted to, would that be a trigger?
No,
Why
the
did
real reason is because you thought, I am so capable. I can do anything. I can hold these 9 things plus this other thing.
I had it under control, but the
I got
plastic
this.
part failed. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Oh, the plastic
The
part.
plastic
Oh,
part
there we go.
folded and
An
it just all-
engineering error on the
But you didn't
part.
check it before you pulled it out,
check it.
apparently.
I didn't run all the tests,
There was no evaluation.
but I thought that was
So,
awesome that
yeah,
she
I
just
do
turned it around.
Turning it around. Yeah, just turning it around and deciding that it's not going to turn it into something bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah.
All right? Because sometimes those things can spiral up
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, somehow you're like, this was over this dumb little
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now
and it
we're
kind of
really
depends
upset.
on, if you're in a good place that day too. Like if you
Right.
had something underlying, you haven't fully resolved yet, that might make it a little more difficult to let things go. But,
To let them go. But do you feel like that when you do it, how does it make you feel when you do forgive your spouse for something? You've made the decision. I mean, and I don't even want to say forgive because that sounds very wholehearted. Let's just say you've decided that, you're going to not be as upset as you've just decided that. How does that impact you?
I think for me, it's one less thing to worry about. Kind of, like I already have so many things to worry about. Let me just not worry about that.
Let that one go.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call it carrying resentment, because it's
Yeah.
something that you have to hold on to. It's an action or an effort, and it requires energy to do that. So don't carry resentment if you don't have to.
Exactly.
the lighter.
Now that was spoken like a true engineer, I do have to say. Requires energy to carry the resentment.
Yeah.
And
Makes
so
logical sense.
It does. It
Yeah.
does make logical sense. It's actually, I think when you decide you're going to let something go, you are giving yourself a gift. You're giving yourself a gift because now you can be happy. Now you can go on. You don't have to carry around anything that you're not happy about.
Yeah.
You can just be happy and fine and love your spouse and not have these things that you need to, that they're not doing right or that they did wrong or that they did to upset you. If you just let it go. So I agree. Uses up energy. You don't have to carry that resentment around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, think about if there's anything that you feel like people could learn from your marriage or from your experience, with each other and, what you've learned over your 23 years. It's a lot of time and a lot of discussions, a lot of communication.
Yeah, I would say prioritize each other. make each other, your top priority when you can, And so that means making time for the relationship and
Making time. Did you say making time?
How much time do you think it requires, Rich? Like, do you feel like it? Like, I agree with
Analyze
you
this?
totally that prioritizing.
Spreadsheet.
Huh? What do you say?
It's a spreadsheet.
Oh, you have a spreadsheet, and the Carly minutes are allotted.
How much time? I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I think everyone's different. Some people need a lot of time, and some people need just a little bit of time. But I think it's about spending quality time.
I think it's about like consistency too. Maybe not necessarily like, hey, we got our 2 hours in for the week. Now we can just go do our things. It's like keeping them at the front of your mind when you're going about your day, or like, thinking about what you can do to make their day better. Or like you're at the store, ask them what they need, just little things.
You're gonna
like
get some
that.
Oreos because they love them. Yeah,
Yeah, Carly
Yeah.
does that. She'll text me, "Do you need anything? I'm at the store."
that's nice.
Well, you
Yeah.
do too, but that's just a little example. But
Yeah.
Those are nice.
I'm
I
surprised
like that.
you haven't
Okay,
quantified.
The number of
prioritizing.
hours.
Yeah, I know. That would. That's
the
why I
budget.
asked.
Now he's gonna
That's
go
why I
home and
asked
do
him
that.
how much time is
He's
it
gonna be
actually.
thinking about it.
You
He'll
think
be
so?
considering it. Yeah, because you may have to have some different categories because there's the time where you spend where you're really talking and connecting, and then the time that you spend where you're maybe doing an active thing, and then there's a time where you're doing some, you're taking care of your children together, or you're doing some service project or something together, right? So different things.
Categories.
So different categories of time, I guess. But I would agree with you on that. Time is huge. Okay, what else? Anything else?
Yeah, well, and just like you said, the types of time. So it may not always be just deep conversation, but also maybe go do something fun together, or
Yeah, I think that's
have a good,
very
relaxing,
important.
fun time rather than just always trying to resolve your battles. Right?
Yeah, sometimes
Maybe
you just need to do
just
something
need to
fun.
do something fun
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Carly brought this up, so I'll just steal it from her. But she said to nurture yourself so that you can show up as a better partner for the other person. So
I love that.
we can't change other people, right? I mean, if they want help and they're asking, then I think that's an opportunity. But in general, we can't control other people.
I know we always wish we could, but we
Yeah.
can't. You can only control you.
You can influence. You
Yeah.
can, yeah.
Encourage, yep. But if you work on yourself, then you become a better person for them, and that might maybe either inspire them or make them feel a little more comfortable in the relationship, and then things go more smoothly. And they view you as, a peacemaker or a friend, or not the enemy.
I just think when you're fulfilled in like personally,
When you feel good,
you
yeah.
just are happier. You're gonna be a better.
And you're going to
person.
bring more positive energy
Yeah,
into the
exactly.
relationship, right?
So
Yeah. No, I think those are some really good things. I love that. Did you have additional things you wanted to say, Carly?
no, just prioritizing the relationship even when kids are little. Something that we had talked about that we haven't brought up yet was our first few years of marriage were pretty smooth until we had our first child.
Right. It's like, so in some ways
That
you look
was-
back and you think, wow, that was
Yeah.
when it was just us.
Yeah. So having kids for us created
Conflict.
conflict.
Yeah. Or just spots for
It's
conflict.
just
More
yeah.
spots.
It's just I don't know. I don't know if I've pinpointed exactly what it was, but there's a lot that comes
A
with
lot that's happening.
hormones. There's an adjustment to taking care of this
Well,
whole
there's a
person.
lot more
and
work
there's
to do.
So, yeah.
There's so much work to do, right?
Yeah, and like being on the same page with how you're going to
Right.
do things. And when we had our first, Evan, he's 20 now. We had just moved here to Arizona, and Rich had started a master's program at ASU and started a new job that was not quite full time, but quite a few hours. And I was like a new stay-at-home mom. I wasn't working in this new place. luckily we had family support, which we wouldn't have if we hadn't moved here. But that was a big adjustment for us, one that we're still trying to figure out, I think.
It's only been 20 years.
Yeah.
But I think, like, at least having those date nights that we started when the kids were young helped, just to give us a break even, to like
Yes.
a break for ourselves, a break to focus on each other. Like, that was something I look forward to all week. And
That's good.
so that was one way to prioritize the relationship. And obviously, communication is huge. Don't let things like fester. Even if you think you shouldn't bring them up,
Right.
bring them up in a cordial way, I guess. You don't have to yell and attack. And
Be thoughtful
blame.
about how you
Yeah.
want to bring them up, but you do
Yeah.
have to bring them up.
And maybe you will realize it's your own issue, but not talking about it just creates more turmoil inside and more narratives that might not be true.
And the resentment that Rich was
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about. Yeah, trying to not let
and
any
it
of
just
that
builds
build
up. So, facing those challenges head on and
Which a lot of people don't want to do, right?
I know, and I don't either.
I was going to say, I
That's
bet
not fun.
your tendency would be
Exactly.
maybe to be like, I think I'm not going to mention this.
Yeah, and in some ways, like, you can work through that and it's okay. But if you find that it's something that
Keeps coming up.
happening, then maybe something more needs to be done
To be
about
done,
it, either
yeah.
on your own or together. But if you at least like identify it, then you can move forward and not have it like festering.
I think that's really good. And I think you're probably much better at letting it sit for a while. I think that Rich and I were both raised like, you have a feeling, there's a 0.5 second between the time you have the feeling and the time you need to share it.
Yeah.
So,
Which isn't, necessarily a bad thing either. 'Cause
Yeah.
Then it's like you're getting it out right,
right,
in the
it's
open.
all getting out and then we move on,
Yeah.
So but it's a different way. And, I think somewhere in the middle there is probably the mature
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really
Possible.
like that. That's a great comment, Carly. Okay, so if you could float outside your body and just go back in time to your younger self, and you had that person just sitting there cooperatively listening to all of your words of wisdom, what would you tell yourself?
I don't know the answer to this.
You don't have,
This is
there's
a hard,
no answer.
hard
There's
question
no
for
answer.
me because
You have to kind of imagine your own
Yeah.
self as a young person, which
and
is
I
sort
just
of hard.
think it's hard for me to go back and know because I think some things are meant to happen a certain way, and I don't know. But maybe you can-
That's an interesting insight. So you're saying I was who I was,
Yeah.
and I needed to go through the growth that I needed to
possibly
go through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly, and
So no words of wisdom would have maybe even changed it.
maybe yeah.
That's an interesting insight.
I think that's what kind of has held me back on that question.
That's an interesting insight. I love it.
I don't know. Maybe I needed to learn certain things. To
Right. And you
who I
needed the
was
time
today.
to do it.
Yeah.
And you gave yourself that time. Yeah. You're patient with yourself.
But I'm still working on it.
We're all a work in progress,
Yeah.
really, until we go into the coffin. Okay,
Yeah.
what about you, Rich?
Well, of course, I would, tell myself what companies to invest in.
Oh, right, exactly.
Right,
I was
well,
hoping more on the
Yeah.
how to be a better husband side
Oh,
of things.
sorry. Okay. Well, I know there's a lot of real specific things that I would say, but I don't think that they apply to other people. Specifics about
I
my
think
family.
that it might be interesting to hear that. Just because you never know.
Oh, just start this process earlier in my child's life, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Things
Yeah.
for your kids.
Yeah, things that we look back and we say, if we would have maybe just gone
We
a
taught him
year
how
or
to
two
swim.
earlier,
Oh.
or maybe we shouldn't have started him in kindergarten
I
this year,
gotcha,
maybe
I
next
gotcha.
year. It's just little things like that.
Okay, so things for your kids. But what about for you?
Yeah,
For yourself and your marriage?
yeah, I would certainly share everything that I've shared today about
You'd get the book.
get your 4 agreements down.
Get
Yeah,
the 4
and
agreements.
don't try not to be reactive and try to to tolerate discomfort for growth. You know, you want to grow and you want to change and be better, then you got to learn to be uncomfortable. But I think, to Carly's point, some things are probably meant to just happen the way they're supposed to happen. And so I might say, you know, stay calm, but it's going to be a wild and super fun ride. It's going to be, everything's going to be okay.
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
Everything's going to be all right.
Everything's
So-
going to be okay.
But definitely the 4 agreements and those other specifics for me, you know, because they made a big difference in my life. That I'm still learning those things. If I could just learn them earlier, then I think Carly would maybe be just a little bit more happy with me.
I think she's pretty happy with you.
I have plenty to work on myself. So.
We all,
Yeah.
exactly. If you worry about your own
Yeah.
your own side of the fence. Yes. Well, I love that. Well, you guys, I have just so enjoyed talking with you today and hearing your insights and your wisdom, and I just really appreciate you being candid with your thoughts and feelings and sharing it, because I really do feel like it's a big thing to embark on a marriage. And I think that it's since most of young people these days, or people who are getting married, are getting information online, it's nice to get out some information online that but real people who really have worked at it diligently and who value marriage and see the benefits. And I think you guys have just been really terrific to share all this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been really nice being here. Thank you for having us.